Crown of Valor. Never. You will not march into battle, Leo. I absolutely forbid it. King Cedric exclaimed, crossing his arms defiantly. Are you really discounting my years of training, father? I replied, casually leaning against the ornate desk in his study. I've served in countless campaigns. You think this one is any different? A frustrated frown deepened between his brows as he struggled to put his thoughts into words. You're not a soldier anymore, Leonidas. You're a prince of Acadia. We have too much at stake. If you were to fall, you would become a martyr, and this kingdom would erupt into chaos. Countless lives would be lost in your name. Can't you see that? I let out a heavy sigh. If I hadn't fallen in love with Cedric and ascended the throne beside him, I would still be fighting in the trenches. I was weary of the palace's gilded walls and the endless strategy meetings. This was my chance to make a difference, to prove to him and the court that I was more than just a royal figurehead. This is utterly unfair. I slammed my palm on the desk, rattling the documents scattered across its surface. You send the nobleman off to war without a second thought. Admit it, I'm a better soldier than half of them. What good is it to have me seated in meetings while our brave soldiers risk their lives? Cedric's composure cracked. He stepped around the desk to face me, his eyes glistening with unshed tears. There are so many ways you can aid our cause right from here. You will not leave. That is a royal decree. His tone softened as he looked at the floor. You're not just a prince, Leo. You're my partner, my closest ally. I need you by my side. He reached out to clutch my hands, locking eyes with me once more. Forget the crown. Forget the advisors. As your king, I ask you not to fight. As your husband, I love you deeply. Please make the right choice. His words brought a flicker of warmth to my heart. It was the first time he'd spoken so openly about our bond since our marriage. My frustration began to wane, replaced by a profound realization: his resistance came from love. Cedric, listen. I need this. Being a prince does not mean I abandon the soldier within me. It feels like a part of me has been stripped away. I need to feel whole again. He shut his eyes tightly, shaking his head. When he opened them, a single tear slipped down his cheek. If you choose to leave, don't come back, he replied curtly, pulling his hands away from mine and pivoting on his heel. I reached out instinctively, but he was already moving toward the door. Cedric, I breathed, desperation creeping into my voice, please wait. But the door clicked shut behind him, swallowed by silence. I was left alone, reeling from shock. Goodbye, I murmured, knowing he would never hear it. Asterisk, asterisk, asterisk. I hadn't found sleep the previous night. I spent every moment hoping Cedric would change his mind, but I knew that was unlikely. He had made it abundantly clear that our relationship had shifted the moment I embraced my royal duties. I loved him more than anything in the world, yet I felt an overwhelming need to reclaim the soldier I once was. Yet, the moment I strode into the ranks of soldiers awaiting deployment, an unexpected calm washed over me. I should have felt apprehensive about returning to battle, yet I felt liberated. For the first time since stepping into this palace, I was among people who understood me. I had prepared for years to be a prince, but the reality of royalty felt foreign. In my military uniform, the burdens of diplomacy were temporarily lifted. Your Highness, an aide saluted as he interrupted my thoughts, the king has entrusted this to you. My heart surged with hope as he handed me a small box. Thank you. I accepted it, a smile breaking through my worries. Once he left, I opened the package, searching for any sign of reconciliation. Inside lay my family crest and a note from Cedric. May this guide you as you pursue your destiny. With love. Cedric. Did he believe I was motivated by a desire for power? My worth had never hinged on my royal title. I owed my life to the people of Acadia, surely they deserved my valor. Why couldn't he understand? I wanted to shout, "This is who I am." The polished prince in formal garb was merely a facade. My true essence lay in the uniform I now wore. Out of the corner of my eye, I saw someone on the palace balcony, and the moment our eyes met, the figure turned away. I ached to follow after him, but the message was clear, this was a farewell. Pushing those thoughts aside, I joined the soldiers on their way to the battlefield, brimming with conflicting emotions. The drive brought me back to a different time when a man sat beside me with a warm smile. "Hey, you all right?" he asked, noting the tension in my shoulders. "Yeah," I replied, brushing it aside. I missed the veil of invisibility my royal title granted, made worse by being penned in the back of the truck with fellow soldiers. "First time?" he inquired gently. "No," I said, my voice laced with apprehension. "I've just been off duty for a while." "Got it." "What happened?" he pressed. I hesitated. "I came from a family tragedy, I'm just trying to handle things. You know how it is." I tightened my grip on my family crest hidden away, not revealing the truth about Cedric and my royal duties. "Sorry to pry." "Really?" he replied, concerning me with genuine interest. "I'm Logan," he said, offering a hand. "Leo," I said, meeting his grip. He scanned the symbol on my crest, his eyes lighting up. "You're a prince. Wow. This must be quite unexpected for you." I chuckled nervously, the weight of the title feeling heavier than usual. Yeah, it had been an adjustment. Things aren't perfect like they seem. He frowned, sensing my discomfort. "Sorry, just wanting to check in." "You seem tense." "Yeah, just the pressure of everything," I admitted. "I want to prove I'm more than just a royal." I stopped myself, scolding my blurted honesty. "I just want to keep my kingdom safe." We traveled onward until chaos erupted. Gunfire filled the air as ambushers revealed themselves from the thicket, sending our truck into disarray. When the dust settled, I felt adrenaline surge through my veins. Soldiers dashed to cover, and I instinctively clutched my weapon, instinctively responding to a legitimate threat. In that moment, I felt alive. Yet, my exhilaration was cut short. I felt a sharp pain and realized I had been struck. Everything faded into a haze, but as my body crumpled, I could see Logan Forlan, seemingly lifeless, in the chaos surrounding us. "No?" I gasped, scrambling toward him as he lay there. "Logan." "Go back to him," he breathed, choking on his words, blood staining the ground beneath him. "Keep him close, protect your kingdom." As I held him, reality hit hard. I couldn't save him, I couldn't save anyone. It hit harder than getting shot, it was realizing that my need for Valor had just caused the loss of another life. I could yell to the skies. The battle couldn't fix the broken parts of my life or save the ones lost. After what felt like hours, comrades rushed to assist, hurling him away as I turned my back. I couldn't bear to see what came next. "Lucky one," I thought bitterly. "You'll be sent home, but..." I'm stagnant. Cold and defeated, I sat in the aftermath, my head throbbing. My body ached, and I felt detached from the celebration of victory. I longed for the simplicity of being ignorant to the horrors of war. It wasn't long before a familiar presence knelt beside me. It took a moment to register the warmth and urgency of familiarity behind Cedric's voice. "You're all right," he exclaimed, embracing me tightly. "We heard what happened and came as fast as we could, in a helicopter to take you home." "What do you mean?" I mumbled, still disoriented. "I'm sorry, Leo. I should have listened to you. I was wrong to doubt your abilities." His expression softened, eyes glistening with renewed hope. You're more than a prince, you're my partner, and I was afraid of losing you. I looked deeply into his eyes, seeing the love shimmering in those stormy depths. I should have listened to you, too. I thought I needed to prove myself, but I see now that my true place is with you, leading our kingdom from here. I never meant for it to come to this. His expression shifted, I could see he understood. Then let's go home together and protect our people, starting now. As he helped me stand, I finally felt whole again, as if my title as prince and the essence of a soldier could coexist in harmony. We could be more than just rulers, we could be partners in every sense, facing whatever challenges lay ahead, together. As Cedric and I stood together amidst the aftermath of battle, the weight of everything we had faced seemed to shift. The chaos around us faded into the background, and for a moment, it felt like it was just us. I glanced towards the horizon, where the sun dipped low, painting the sky in hues of orange and purple, a sign of hope in the midst of despair. Let's get everyone regrouped and strategize with the generals, I said, determination flooding my veins. There's still work to be done, and we can't let Logan's sacrifice be in vain. Cedric nodded solemnly. You're right. But we'll do it together, side by side. With that, we moved through the remnants of the battlefield, gathering soldiers and offering words of encouragement. I felt a renewed sense of purpose as I interacted with each one, sharing my resolve to lead with honor and integrity, reminding them of the strength we had as a united front. When we reached the makeshift command center, I took a seat at the table, opposite Cedric, surrounded by the generals and loyal soldiers. I felt their eyes on me, some curious, others weary from the long fight. I cleared my throat, feeling the assembled ranks brimming with expectation. We've made it through a tough battle, but this isn't the end, I began, looking everyone in the eye. Our losses weigh heavily on me, especially Logan's. He fought bravely for our country, and it's up to us to ensure his sacrifice was not in vain. We need to regroup and devise a strategic plan for the next phase of this conflict. Cedric leaned in, his voice steady. We need to approach this with a more calculated plan. We know the enemy is using guerrilla tactics. We can adapt our strategies to counterattack strategically rather than recklessly. We need to think like them. The room buzzed with nods and murmurs of agreement. Ideas flowed freely as we dissected the enemy's movements, plotting territories and devising counter-strategies. The energy was palpable, and I realized then that this was my true calling, not just on the battlefield, but as a leader in our kingdom. Hours passed, and before we knew it, we had constructed an extensive and detailed plan. As I leaned back in my chair, satisfied with the progress, I noticed a familiar face standing at the doorway, one of the medics from earlier in the day, her eyes full of concern. Your Highness, she said politely, trying to maintain her composure. I'm sorry to intrude, but there's been news from the medical camp. My heart sank. What is it? Logan, he didn't make it. I felt the blood drain from my face, the enormity of the loss crashing down on me like a wave. It felt surreal, as though I had stepped outside my body. I had focused so much on the battle and supporting my troops that I had lost sight of one of them, one who fought alongside me, who showed me that I wasn't alone in this war. I turned to Cedric, who had also grown pale with the news. He reached for my hand, granting me. We need to honor him, honor their sacrifice, he said quietly, and his voice brought me back to the moment. With a heavy heart, I nodded. We will remember them. Perhaps we could hold a memorial after this campaign. A way to ensure their lives were celebrated instead of merely noted as losses on the battlefield. The room fell silent as everyone processed the news. I felt the weight of grief among my fellow soldiers. It was a painful reminder of what was at stake, the stakes that came with our responsibilities. Together, we will fight for them. For all of us, I declared, my voice steadying. We fight to protect one another, and to avoid letting one more name be added to our losses. With determination in my heart, we resumed the meeting, feeling the support of everyone around us. As the night stretched on, I knew I had made the right choice in returning to the field. I wasn't simply a prince or a soldier, I was part of something larger, a family forged in fire, loss, and love. Asterisk, asterisk, asterisk. The next day, with our plans set, we prepared to mount our counterstrike. My heart thrummed with anxiety and fear, and I could see that many of my soldiers felt the same. Cedric remained my rock, holding my gaze steady as we donned our battle gear. "Remember," he said quietly as we gathered our battalion before heading out, "we fight together. No one stands alone." With those words of reassurance echoing in my mind, I mounted my horse. The nervous energy pulsing through me transformed into focus, and as the sun broke through the clouds, illuminating the path ahead, I felt ready. We started our march toward the enemy territory, determined and united. I led the troops with renewed purpose, my heart beating in rhythm with their resolute spirits. This wasn't just a fight for territory, it was a fight to protect our loved ones, to honor the fallen, and to defend our cherished kingdom. When the time came for our ambush, everything unfolded like a carefully orchestrated ballet. With every volley fired and every strategic move made, I saw the strength and valor of my soldiers, I felt their unwavering support. As the tide of battle turned in our favor, adrenaline surged through me. I led the charge forward, flanking the enemy as we had practiced. I felt Cedric at my side, his presence both comforting and empowering. It was a battle unlike any I had fought before, one fought not merely for victory, but for love, for strength, and for resilience. And amidst the clash of swords and shouts of warriors, the scars we all bore faded momentarily as we fought united for our home, determined to honor those we had lost and protect those we loved. After the smoke cleared and victory was finally grasped, silence settled in. We gathered together, collecting ourselves and remembering those who fought valiantly beside us, including Logan. That evening, we held a memorial under the starlit sky. Soldiers and civilians alike came to pay their respects, lighting candles in remembrance of the lives we had lost. "It's not just the battles we fight," I told the gathered crowd, my voice carrying in the quiet night, "but the memories we keep alive. Let us always hold them close to our hearts and honor their sacrifices." As the candles flickered, illuminating the somber faces of my people, I felt Cedric's hand in mine, a reminder of the love and support we shared. He stood strong next to me, and I realized that amidst grief, our bond had only grown brighter, a light against the darkness of war. The path we had started together was filled with challenges to come, but I was ready to face them, knowing I had not just the heart of a prince, but a soldier dedicated to defending my kingdom, side by side with the man I loved. And as we moved forward into the unknown, I knew that together, we would continue to forge our legacy, one filled with valor, love, and an unbreakable bond. Under the shimmering constellations, with flickering candles illuminating the faces of my kingdom, I felt a profound sense of unity among us. In that moment, amid the silence that enveloped our gathering, I realized that our true strength lay not solely in our military might, but in our shared memories and sacrifices. The memorial concluded, but the candlelight remained, casting a warm glow over our thoughts. As we dispersed, I caught fleeting glances of soldiers gripping their loved ones tightly, murmurs of support and encouragement echoed around me, a testament to the resilience we had forged together. Cedric remained at my side, his presence a calming force. "You spoke with such conviction, Leo," he murmured as we began to walk away from the gathering. "You have a gift for rallying the people. They look to you as a beacon of hope." I turned to him, still feeling the weight of the day's events. "It's easy to find strength when supported by such fierce loyalty," I replied, my voice barely above a whisper. "But I often wonder if I'm truly worthy of this responsibility." "You are more than worthy," Cedric assured me, tilting my chin to meet his gaze. You've shown your heart through your actions, fighting for those who can't fight for themselves, remembering those we have lost. That's the essence of a true leader. I smiled, the warmth of his affirmation washing over me. Thank you, Cedric. It means the world to hear you say that. But deep down, I recognized that the road ahead would not be easy. Our victory had not ended the war, it had merely shifted the tides in our favor. Tensions remained high, and we still faced the threat of future conflicts. With newfound resolve, I decided it was time to sharpen our defenses and prepare for whatever lay ahead. The following days were consumed by planning and strategy. Cedric and I convened with our generals, laying out a robust framework for defense, emphasizing the need for intelligence gathering and community involvement. We organized training sessions not just for the soldiers but also for civilians, teaching self-defense, first aid, and emergency response, a way to empower our people, fostering a spirit of resilience. As the sun rose and set each day, the castle became foundational to its community. We built connections with neighboring villages, establishing alliances and forging bonds that transcended mere politics. I took special care to visit these areas, gaining insights into their needs and concerns, a gesture that didn't go unnoticed. Though the darkness of war still loomed over us, I began to see glimmers of hope among the people. During one visit to the outskirts of Arcadia, as I walked through the market, I spotted a group of children playing a makeshift game of soldiers. Their laughter filled the air, a beautiful reminder of the innocence we were fighting to protect. As I approached, one of the boys stopped mid-laughter and looked up at me with wide, curious eyes. "Prince Leo, are you going to fight the bad guys again?" he asked, his face lit with enthusiasm. I knelt down to meet his gaze. "You can be sure of it. But I fight with my friends, and we don't fight for glory. We fight to keep people like you safe." The boy beamed, clearly taking the weight of my words to heart. The innocence of childhood drove a point home that I'd often vacillated on. There was great power in hope. As I continued my outreach, I felt the significance of listening to the voices of my people grow within me. As weeks passed, we faced skirmishes along our borders, a mix of commando-style raids. Each conflict brought us closer as a kingdom, but it also served as a stark reminder of our vulnerabilities. I often found myself standing at the battlefield's edge, 100 emotions swirling: fear, anger, determination. One evening, after a particularly challenging day of skirmishes, I returned home to the palace feeling drained. As I walked through the familiar doors, Cedric was waiting for me in our shared quarters, his expression a mix of concern and warmth. "Leo," he said softly, crossing the room to wrap his arms around me, "I've been worrying about you. You've taken on so much, and I fear you're spreading yourself too thin." "I'm just trying to do what's right," I replied, leaning into his embrace, feeling his steadiness ground me. "I have to protect our kingdom and the people we love. It's a heavy burden, but it's worth it." "I understand your desire to protect everyone," Cedric said, pulling back slightly to look into my eyes. "But you also have to protect yourself. You can't be everything to everyone, Leo. You need to remember to take care of your own heart." Those words struck a chord within me. I had long been running on adrenaline and duty. Nodding timidly, I recognized the truth in his statement. "You're right. I need to find a balance." The next day, with determination, I made it a priority to carve out moments for myself and Cedric, to connect without the weight of crowns and war. We initiated small traditions, from moonlit walks to quiet evenings, where we could talk about our hopes and fears without the expectation to lead. Those moments became precious and rejuvenating. As the months advanced, our preparation proved fruitful. Intelligence reports indicated that the enemy was beginning to stall, their tactics growing more desperate as the heart of Arcadia, its people, remained strong and united. In the midst of this shift, we decided to hold a grand festival, a celebration of resilience and unity. It would be a declaration that we would not be broken by the turmoil of war, but instead emerge stronger, together. The day of the festival dawned, filled with laughter and liveliness, music and dancing flowing through the streets. As I stood on a balcony overlooking the square, I felt an overwhelming sense of pride. My heart swelled at seeing the spirit of my people shining through. Cedric joined me, resting his hands on the railing beside me. "Look at them, Leo. They're smiling. They're hopeful. Together, we've built this," I said quietly, glancing at him, the love for him deepening within me. "They make all the difference." "We did it together," he replied, turning to face me fully. But as we basked in the joy of the festival, one thought lingered in the back of my mind. While we celebrated, whispers of the enemy remained, and tension still hung in the air. Our freedom had come at a heavy price. Yet as the festivities continued from dawn till dusk, I made a silent promise to myself: regardless of what lay ahead, we would face it together, driven not by the weight of responsibility, but by the steadfast belief in one another and the people we chose to serve. And as night fell, illuminating the sky with the light of 1,000 stars, I found myself with Cedric again, hand in hand, sharing the space beneath the vast expanse, a reminder that in the face of uncertainty, we were never alone. Our hearts intertwined, set to navigate whatever challenges awaited us as partners, allies, and kings.